On July the 25th, 2025, we have a brand new moon in Leo. It's going to bring positive surprises and delights for many of us, as it is a part of an auspicious a triangle called a miniature grand trine, and it activates Uranus for the surprise in the Gemini sky relative to the Leo part of your sky, and a little touch of support from Saturn in the early part of Aries. All said and done, imagine a little capstone triangle that is intending to bring you some good surprises, some positive, unexpected developments over the course of the 2 or 3 weeks that follow this lunation. So if you want to hear about this for your sign, what positive surprises may be in store for you, then welcome to my channel. My name is Lori Lothian. This is a Western Tropical Zodiac whole sign house astrology. I'm using traditional astrology from the ancient world. And if you're new here and you would like to learn to time your best life and be your own astrologer, check out below in my description box, where you can get on the early bird discount waitlist for the class that opens up in September. And I'm going to be opening the early discount enrollment doors on July the 31st. So figure out more about the course, read about it, get the description box link below, and come join me in my live class. 6-time teaching this class. It's 6 weeks long, and I love teaching it. So let's get started and talk about what the sky might open up for each of us in this story. Now, the first thing I want to mention to you guys is that this is a narrative that is about Leo, and Leo is about courage. Leo is about the heart. It's what brings us play and fun, and it's about being leaderful as well. It's the archetype of the king. So in this sense, the Leo sky, any moon here, new or full, is asking us to play in fire, is asking us to play in the big, bold heart and the courage of our heart, but also to remember the innocence, the wonder, and playful spirit of life, the creative energy of life as well. Now, because Leo is a part of the sky that actually is very active for certain people in the world, such as Donald Trump, a Leo rising, such as J.D. Vance, a Leo rising, such as Iran, a Leo rising nation, and maybe even Palestine by some people's chart assessments. What we're going to say in the very beginning is a few things about those world stories, but I'm going to be very brief. I might be starting a new channel, or not a new channel, but just a playlist dedicated to world astrology, because I get that some people just aren't that interested. But you have to know that if you don't want to listen to the intro and a bit of the world astrology, then you can always jump to your sign. You don't have to listen. In your sign, I cover all the things you're going to need to know for you after this moon is here on the 24th. Usually feel it a day or two before, and it also unfolds its wings for you over the course of 6 months as well. For every new moon plants a seed that will become full 6 months later in the same sign. Now, let me show you the sky. Let's get started. When I'm showing you the sky, I'm giving you a picture of the heavens. Three-dimensional landscape becomes a flat image. So we squish it into 2 dimensions. And here we have a drawing of our sky on the 24th of July. It's set for Vancouver, Canada. It doesn't matter. It's still the same sky around the world. And there are some asteroids that make me a little bit concerned for the world, for particular leaders. And I'll tell you about that, especially around payback or vengeance. But before we get to that, let's just talk about the good news. See this little triangle right here? This is this new moon at 2 degrees of Leo, and it flows to Uranus for a positive sextile surprise, and it flows to Saturn and Neptune to consolidate that into something of lasting value. Now, interestingly enough, this is more than just this miniature triangle sky. The moon also creates this wedge right here with the north node, and it is opposite Pluto. So in your life, this moon is going to ask you to transform, to regenerate, to rebirth, to kind of really go deep into this energy of what you want to create in life. For all said and done, there is a bucket in our sky, and the bucket is this little shape, but it's more than that. It's the entire Leo stellium, including a retrograde Mercury. If you're watching this video, the Mercury retrograde video is coming out a few days later. You'll probably get this video on a Sunday, and the retrograde Mercury comes out on a Thursday. But I want you to know that the bucket formation looks kind of tight over here, but it really is like this whole line between Leo and Aquarius. And in that regard, what holds the handle of this bucket actually looks more like a teacup. It is Mars with the south node. And Mars has meaning. It's about decisions and actions and vitality and competition and, yes, war in your own, and also unaliving and harming with weapons, etc. So that's world stories. You are not that story, guys. You're not that story. This is asking what decisions and actions you're going to want to take in this lunation, because the sun and moon conjunction, the new moon, is a part of this sort of bucket energy that wants to connect to the handle. It's like lifting a spoon, but Mars is the handle, and Mars has the power to tell you the nature of what you wish to contain in that bucket, and that's change. You want to contain change through new decisions and new actions in your life. So you're going to have to act on this lunation, not just sit back and watch it like a movie. Okay. Now, this is not a long video. I found that as people get more astrologically sophisticated, I've been doing this online since 2018, 19, that they literally care less about the lunations. I've noticed a trend in the collective that they're more interested in eclipses. Okay. So we won't go on forever here about this moon, but I want you to get the lay of the land for how around the time of the lunation, 2 to 3 weeks later, plus up to 6 months unfoldment, you can make some decisions, take some actions boldly with the courage of that lunation, so that you can catch something good in your net, your bucket, your teacup, whatever you want it to be. Now, let's very briefly cover the world astrology. I'm not kidding you. It's going to be so brief, you're going to be shocked. Now, right here, we have Mars. Mars is the bucket handle and the south node and this asteroid here. Now, this is one of those asteroids. It's about revenge. We can call it payback if you like. The name of the asteroid is called Tisiphone, Tisiphone, Tisiphone. It's number 466, and it's about one of the Greek furies. There are 3 Greek furies. They punish those who commit crimes of murder. It's about justice and payback for crimes against kinship and getting what you deserve, good or bad. So I'm only going to say there is an actual asteroid that suggests payback for crimes. So I don't know if they're war crimes. I don't know if they're like, crimes of omission. I don't know if they're crimes of whatever, but crimes can be punished. There can be payback. Mars is never a good guy when he's in payback mode. And when he's co-joined the south node, and he would have been exactly co-joined about the 20th, then he's in very bad shape in the sense of he tends to be doing dastardly deeds. Although some would argue he's less damaging on the south node than he could be. I disagree. It was Mars on the south node, on the ascendant of Libra, on the ascendant of Israel in October 23 that led to what we have going on in the world, in the Middle East now. So I wouldn't say that his badness was softened by the south node. You could say dastardly deeds are afoot. Now, connected to things in the past, like in this case, what have you done in the past to deserve this payback? So the payback asteroid for world events is highly activated. The payback asteroid is at the teacup handle or the bucket handle. We have a sun, which means leader in Leo, opposite Pluto, the god of death. End of story. You figure it out. Which Leonine leader could be in harm's way? Any of them. And it could also be the leaders of Iran or the leaders of Palestine. Who knows? Because both those nations may be Leo rising. Iran has an Aries rising as well. But one of the main charts that I like to use for the constitutional signing of April the 1st, April of 1979 is extremely accurate and gives it the Leo rising designation. Now, here we have in the sky as well the idea of blunt force trauma. I know that sounds funny or weird to bring it up, and you're not going to be blunt force trauma, okay-ish. But if you were a ascendant sun or moon near 2 degrees of Leo, be careful. Okay, just be careful. The asteroid that's sitting between the sun and the moon at 2 degrees is Echeclus. Echeclus is celestial body, centaur body, 605558. It's a centaur who was killed violently, rammed in the face with a blunt spear. Not much is known about this mythology. So a blunt spear trauma ramming of a centaur, death by blunt force or death by spear. In our modern day, spears can be objects that are projectiles that fly through the sky. I'll give you that much. And this one over here, another such asteroid, not Askalaphus. Someone corrected me in my comments last time on a video I did, and I mentioned this asteroid. Askalaphus, not Asclepius or Asclepius, Askalaphus. So Askalaphus is not the healer, right? Not Asclepius or Asclepius. Askalaphus celestial body 4946 is the son of the king of the minions. I think they mean minins. It says minins on my software. Son of Aries, the king of the minions, one of the Argonauts killed by a spear during the Trojan War. Now, it says on the software, learn when to be silent, when to be discreet, and when to reveal truths. Urge to become a whistleblower, revealing inconvenient truths, spying and eavesdropping. Because I think the way this guy got killed, the Argonaut, was he was telling the inconvenient truths. He wasn't discreet. He was a whistleblower. So we have a lot going on, which indicates the potential for some kind of damage to a Leo person or situation, a Leo country, connected to spears, connected to whistleblowers, connected to disclosures, and on we go. This definitely, to me, speaks of problems in Iran. As we move towards the first 2 weeks of August, the thing that seeded all the tension between Iran and the United States, the Saturn Mars combination, is back in its play. It's going into its opposition. Saturn and Mars are going to oppose each other, and that could look extremely difficult for things going on with Iran vis-a-vis, say, the United States and or Israel, for example. If you can think of any other Leonine leaders, I'd love to know. I'm open to comments in the comment section. But Leonine leaders are indubitably in trouble. The sun is opposite Pluto, but more than that, with those gnarly asteroids, and you don't want a bucket on a payback handle, right? That's the story. I'm not going to belabor that. We're going to do your sign. If that was too much world astrology for you, then I'm sorry. I'm going to round it out with a simple delineation here for my video editor, if I remember to give him this to do it. Oh, it's simple. We have a situation coming up on the Leo new moon in the month of July on the 24th, where we have a bucket formation in the sky. The handle of the bucket is connected to Mars, the warrior, but also the unaliver, sitting on the handle of that bucket, connected to an asteroid known for payback. Payback for crimes, payback because of things that have been done that caused people to no longer be in alive states. And this is a part of the Greek Furies. Having that handle connected to this is very daunting for Leo rising individuals right now. That includes Donald Trump, of course, J.D. Vance, or countries that are Leo rising, such as the nation of Iran. Let's see what happens at the end of July with this energy into the first 2 weeks of August. All right, so let's go ahead and do your sign. OMG. Does anybody know what to do with shoulder problems? Okay. Don't forget to join me on Sky Reader, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. I would so appreciate it. Why is my shoulder hurting me? Because I'm too often using my hand like this, very non-ergonomically, and that doesn't help. It's an old shoulder injury from years ago, where I think it was a rotator cuff. So every now and then I'm going, ow. I think I need to go to an osteopath. Okay, here we go. Whew, that's painful. Let's start with Aries, and we're going to talk about what the pleasant surprise might be coming off this miniature grand trine. We're not going to get complicated as all hell, but we also have a wedge here, as you can see, like a shoe stopper thingy, door stopper. And we have another wedge here. That's what makes this bucket. But we're going to focus on this particular beautiful little triangle. I'm going to riff on your sign, and we're starting with Aries. And if you could like the video, guys, and subscribe and comment, it does help the YouTube algorithm push it out to more people who may enjoy it. And that really does also keep the channel sustainable for me. I often see channels like really going strong and suddenly like just falling off the cliff with the growth. Well, the growth is a part of how I make a living here. So please share with others and like and subscribe, and check that you're still subscribed. Quite often YouTube unsubscribes people. It's a part of an algorithmic scrub, and it's not like just about me. All of us channels have this happening. Okay, so Aries, sun, moon, and rising sign. So what we want to draw our attention to the fire trine. You are fire. This is a fire energy. Just going to say you don't mind it. It's flowing to you. New beginnings and fresh starts in love, romance, fertility, children, creative projects, artistic endeavors, including performing, music, singing, dancing, book writing, take your pick. And finally, romantic love. Did I say that? and entrepreneurship. So all of that stuff is fresh and new and beginning again. Mercury retrograde indicates also, and we'll be doing our own Mercury retrograde video, that maybe also you're going to connect to former lovers or people from your past with whom you were romantically connected. You may be getting emails and phone calls from them anytime during this retrograde, which started on July 17th. And that's in the backdrop of the lunation. But Mercury rules contracts, news, information, discussions. And there may be some contractual agreements around creative projects coming off the lunation, not just in the 2 to 3 weeks after, but in the 6 months that follow as well. So artists who want creative contracts, looking good. The moon is actually opposite Pluto. It's transformational. It's intense. It could ask you to really look more squarely at your long range goals and dreams and what you want to achieve. This is a moon in the house of enjoyment, pleasure, and play. If you're not enjoying and having fun in your life, maybe this moon is going to draw your attention to what really matters, because Pluto in the 11th house could be chasing the wealth, chasing the gains of the career, wanting more power, more money, more wealth. He is a god of wealth, guys. And then Mercury is playfully playing in the 5th house. He's known to play. And you might be looking more squarely at the balancing between those two things of work and play. Quite possibly, too, because of the mini triangle that forms down here, as you can see, you might be considering the idea that you want to very realistically appraise your creative endeavors as it comes to your 3rd house. The 3rd house, Uranus. Uranus is all about matters to do in this place, to do with a digital age. And he's in the house of social media platforms, media in general. But now we have digital media, online media. And you're going to have an exciting run here of 7 years. So get ready for that. But he's testing the waters, and he opens up this question of, can I sustain myself in my writing, my communicating, my digital world with sudden breakthroughs? And Venus and Uranus together are positive. This is a positive energy of breaking through, breaking free in writing, communicating, and social media. Now, traveling can be indicated if it's romantic or leisure travel, and you could have a breakthrough in romance and travel with a significant love partner. If you're single, though, you could meet somebody. Kaboom. And it could become a long relationship because of Saturn's involvement. Saturn retrograde and Mercury, though, could mean that you're going to bump into, connect with, email, or call an old romantic partner, and it could reestablish a connection. It may become a thing again. You wait and see for single Aries if you don't get back with someone from the past with this kind of sky on July 24th. At about 2 to 3 weeks after to see if that's true, but know that it still unfolds in the 6 months that follow. And all said and done, there's a bucket. What do you want to pick up in your teacup bucket from Mars? Make a decision. Take some action, for goodness sakes, to improve your health, to work out, to cut your dietary habits down to what works best for you, and to maybe make some changes in your employer structures. If you're a boss or you're the employee, it doesn't matter, or the work you do on the daily. You need to make a change. Mars represents the decisions and actions to let something go. Time to let something go. I'm an Aries sun and moon. I already know it's my client readings. I decided I'm not opening up any more spots. Maybe the fall, maybe not. It's not that I don't love my clients. I need to write my book proposal for my agent and more. So you can find things like this in the chart, mean about what you need to surrender and let go, but you must act on it. You must make a decision. And with Mars squaring Venus, the decision is about what you must let go of in communicating, marketing, selling, social media, and or one-on-one client relationships, because Venus rules your 7th. Well, Taurus, sun, moon, and rising. I feel like I want to get some chocolate, and it's so early in my video for the chocolate run. You guys know me, right? Let's go through a few more signs, and then we'll do the chocolate break. So, oh my goodness gracious, I'm gonna maybe just break for chocolate. I'm not kidding. Well, no, I can keep going for a bit more time. I'm wearing a really cool summer dress I got at a thrift shop, but it's tending to fall down right now in this video. All right, so I want you to think Taurus, sun, moon, rising sign. I want you to feel, or don't think at all. Feel. Okay, feel into this moon. It demands courage. It demands your heart to be fully invested in something, 4th house, as a new beginning. But the 4th house, Taurus, is your domicile. It's where you live. It's your midnight hour. It's time with your quiet hours alone in your private life. And so you might want a fresh start, which can literally mean with Mercury, a chance to negotiate a new property, a home, a lease, a new place to live. And this is a 6-month unfoldment, especially with Mercury there, especially with Venus in the second house of possessions. You may wish to possess a new home, and that could happen in the 6 months that follow. Retrograde means it's something you've already been considering. It's connected to places you've been in the past, etc. You may also consider that retrograde Mercury with this moon means hearing from people from your childhood and from your past. Lots of communication going on from that venue as well. Because there's a miniature triangle forming of good stuff, Uranus is a financial surprise. Surprise! This is your possessions, your earnings, your resources, and your savings. Venus is protecting you there. Surprise is positive for most of you here. Mercury, though, can negotiate a deal, especially if the surprise involves money and home in some way, or possessions for the home, or possessing a new home. With a triangle also connecting to Saturn in the 12th house of backroom deals and negotiations, you might be able to connect to people from your past with whom you could create a deal, a negotiation, a barter around money, home, possessions, etc. This could include rental properties for you as well. Pluto in the 10th house is a very dynamic energy. You've got a new start, full of heart, full of courage, full of bold daring with that leonine, roar in the home, and you got to square off or oppose Pluto in the 10th house. Pluto in the 10th house may, transform or want to transform your work in this world. You may not want to stay with what you've done before. There may be a change afoot, and you might make a massive decision to change your career direction off of this lunation. With this Mars story going on in the 5th house, Mars is the handle to that kind of bucket formation, and he's about the changes you need to make regarding your career vis-a-vis things, career and home life, and money and possessions, career, home, and earnings, vis-a-vis, am I having fun? Am I artistically inclined? Is this creative? Is it using my gifts and skills? Am I in my entrepreneurial spirit? Can I open up more competitive spirit in my path of my career? Certainly, if you have a day job and you don't like it, this can really get you going on your entrepreneurial energies. If you are in that direction in your mind, you want to try entrepreneurial stuff. With Jupiter in the 3rd house, Mars, doing the South Node dance at this moon, it could open up some entrepreneurial stories for you, and you might find yourself starting your own business. But if not, find the spark of joy, fun, creativity, and play in your work, in your career, and in the way you make money. All said and done, though, I'd like to hear back from you. Do you have a sudden unexpected surprise coming off the triangle forming between Saturn, Uranus, and the moon? You may have this incredible, oh my God, my mother gave me a bunch of money. This is a house of money. No, mom doesn't have to die to give you a bunch of money, but mom can give you a bunch of money, or some backroom deals and negotiations yield a greater gain financially than you anticipated. Venus is in the house with Uranus of what you put in your mouth. And if you have an ancestral line that had addictions and, drank too much, smoked too much, whatever it is, this could be a breakthrough, a real sudden and dramatic clearing without even any trying of some of these patterns that you have inherited from your family of origin. So look for that as well. Gemini, sun, moon, and rising sign. I love this for me too, because I have a progressed Gemini sun. No, your progressions are not as important at all as your natal chart, but they do add another layer of meaning for sure. So it's a new beginning in the house of writing. Of course, I like it. I've got to write a book proposal for Eileen, my agent. I've got to get a bunch of other writing done. I love to write at Substack. Go join me there. My Pluto Chronicles. Lori's pretty unplugged over there. You can join for free, or you can subscribe. So go check it out in my description box. But long story short, this Leo 3rd house energy is about this creative impulse, this playful impulse, this courageous impulse to write, to maybe teach, to market or sell, but new beginnings. This is not necessarily for me. For example, I'm teaching Sky Reader, sure, but I always add new material, but it's a new beginning and a fresh start. Mercury retrograde also means maybe traveling and during this time to a place you've been before. And so if you're wanting to travel on this lunation, it looks really good for you to do that, especially with the retrograde, indicating it's sort of a zone of a place you've already gone to. And there can be a great creative and fun and playful travel trip opening on the moon, but it's bigger than the moon's It's bigger than that. It's what you do on that trip plants seeds for the next 6 months. So it could be artistic, creative seeds. I don't know. Marketing and selling belongs to the mercurial third house, and you might find yourself hatching some new beginnings and ways to do marketing and selling. Because this moon is also flowing to Uranus, forming a mini trine, kaboom, shock and awe, surprise. You are your own breakthrough. You're having ideas, breakthroughs, divine downloads, insights, originality, and invention just pour through you with Mercury's support. Your ideas are electric, fresh, and new. And Uranus is also with Mercury hitting up Saturn for the house of great gains, and long range dreams and wishes are being informed by beautiful new beginnings in that social media, writing, communicating, but also daily life, neighbors and neighborhood. There's a fresh start here as well. Mars is a part of a bucket, and the bucket is like what is going to have to change for you to capture the goodies in the spoon or bucket. And Mars is going to make you make decisions. And some of that is about where you live. Now, South Node and Mars here can have you leave your home, but even your homeland, goodness gracious, who knows? But it has a sense of having to make some major choices and decisions connected to where you live, connected to your home, connected to the place in which you are putting your head at night and residing, or the actions you take. Mercury's in the sign, Mars is in the sign of Virgo, the sign of the writer. And maybe it's time to start just bucking up and writing in and from your home. So these are things Mars would have you act on and decide. Don't forget, the sun is opposite Pluto in the 10th, 9th house, a Dharma house, calling you to be more in purpose and lean into long range goals and dreams, and especially regarding your career, so that you can be extremely transformed by becoming on purpose in alignment with Dharma. So there's a quality of kind of finding the true north again that falls off this lunation. Now, Pluto Sun opposition could be really big tensions with a guide, a mentor, an advisor, for sure. Those are Plutonian people in the 9th house, but it may not even be that. It could be more subtle. It could feel like somehow, some way, the compass needle finds true north and you feel renewed, regenerated, and invigorated by that. Now, I am going to stop the share. Well, I do get a bit of chocolate. Oh, I'm so warm in here. Sorry, we're having like a 29 degrees Celsius day here in Canada, and I am having a hot flash in it. I'll be right back. All right, I just had the most delicious chocolate, and I am loving my dark chocolate from my favorite dark chocolate. Why am I not sponsoring them? Someone got really gnarly about me sharing a bit of a jewelry sponsorship last time. I'm like, guys, I'm sharing something I like because I like it, not because it makes me any money. In fact, the Coppertus Woo pendant that I was sharing, I'm not getting a commission. It's just freaking beautiful. Why are people so, I don't know, gnarly? Why is my screen share stopped? Am I doing this with my shoulder still? Okay, hang on. I cannot see my screen share at all. Now it's there. Okay. Let's move on, shall we? This is a lunation in Leo, and it's on July 24th. Cancer, sun, moon, and rising. Courage, heart, daring, and boldness in your earnings, money, resources, and possessions. Time to start something fresh and new in that second house. Because Mercury is retrograde, it can also indicate money from the past or financial opportunities from the past or possessions from your past coming back to you. Why not, right? Add to that this moon is connected very strongly to Uranus. Wow. There's a little bit of a shocking surprise. You could have a surprise connected to the following themes: digital income and borderless revenue, money from a financial distant shore client or foreign place. Kaboom. In it comes money coming to you literally from some unexpected place that you didn't see coming. It's a little nice positive surprise. Venus, the money goddess, Uranus there from the past, maybe with Mercury retrograde, money you didn't think was ever coming back, returning to you. I mean, it's a story. I can see it possibly happening. Jupiter makes you lucky. It's with you for a year till next July. I know people say I'm not lucky. I haven't any luck. My Cancer sun and rising. No, guys, be patient. First of all, wherever Jupiter goes, he drops golden eggs. Okay, little golden eggs. He just poops them all over the place. Wait a year. When he moves on to the next sign, then you get the gains of his transit through the house of Cancer. Some of these are delayed gains. When Jupiter went through my second house, was the first time I taught the Sky Reader course, more or less. And then I made a little bit of money, right? The next year I made a lot of money. The gains come the year later. So, yes, be patient. Now, Jupiter is still giving you luck and he's giving you protection. Most often, Jupiter here will make sure you don't come into any physical harm. With that said, look at the idea that we have Saturn in the 10th house with Neptune. This is another interesting story. Neptune up there and Saturn are holding fort for career visions and dreams to come true. What do you really want to do in your career that you're holding a space for a new vision, a new dream, but you got to play it with mastery, authority, discipline, perseverance. 3 years of hard work are ahead of you in whatever career you're choosing. But I love this sky because Mercury, new moon, new beginning in this second house indicate in the couple of weeks after, 3 weeks after, and of course, even deeply more unfolding in the next 6 months is a fresh start financially. And it could definitely come from career endeavors, and it can definitely come from help from behind the scenes, backroom deals and negotiations, or creative projects you're doing on your own home alone. Pluto is opposite the new moon, new beginning. There may be tension in this fresh start financially regarding money that you share with another person. Quite often, spousal shared resources and shared bank accounts. But hey, chunky 8th house unearned income can also be stock investments, money from inheritance, money from the sale of a property. That kind of financial story is at odds with this a new beginning and fresh start. You might have to look at taxes here. This Pluto's in the house of taxes and make some decisions regarding tax situations as well. There is a beautiful possibility of decisions regarding the third house with Mars at the sort of a bucket handle here on the south node. Is there something you need to act on or take a decision on when it comes to siblings and your money, when it comes to travel and your finances, when it comes to your local neighborhood and neighbors and your financial situation, when it comes to entrepreneurship and websites and social media and your money? Mars says, let go, surrender, and end some part of a story to make way for something new. All you have to do is see what to do through the Martian imperative of action, decision, cutting away what's not needed. Now, Mars is squaring Venus. And there can be, with that tension in the sky, some moment here where you need to really make a decision about what you truly value and desire, but from the deepest layer of your being, not just on the surface. Or you may want to cut away from some kind of financial fortune that does come from long distance foreign lands and shores. Venus does rule the house of your home. And some of you may, off of this in the 6 months that follow, choose to relocate your home to a different place, a different shore, a different country, or a different city, or a different neighborhood. Get ready for that possibility in the next 6 months, if not sooner. Leo, sun, moon, and rising sign. I have an interesting view of your picture right now of your story, Leos. There happens to be a new beginning and a fresh start in the sign of Leo. That is you. You're starting over. You do it every year. And 6 months from now, you've got a seed you've planted that blossoms. But this is not any old seed. There's a Mercury retrograde here. The retrograde reminds us that you're planting seeds, but they're from your past already. There's things, ideas, situations, people, communications from your past returning on this lunation. I would literally pay attention to emails, phone calls, and text messages. I really would have your eye on that ball, okay, when you come to this moon. Because there's something about incoming messages or ideas that will be important. With the opposition to Pluto, you may have this major intensity of death, rebirth, transformation, rejuvenation, regeneration regarding business partners, committed love partnerships. All right. And this could indicate communicating with a former romantic partner for a major regeneration, renewal, rebirth, or death. Sometimes we have to put something to bed again, like have that last conversation to really end it. That could come off the moon as well. There's some positive surprises here. That's because, of course, Uranus is kaboom. I've got a surprise. Venus is usually positive in your gains house. Which gains? The gains of your career, the direct monies you make from being in service to some employer, some kind of boss, some kind of situation, the company. And in that regard, there's a positive surprise, most likely, because Venus is going to try to make it good. Good gains, good surprises, good breakthroughs in your financial ceiling, maybe regarding money you've been making and how much more you can get. And you're really surprised. Allies, benefactors who want to help you, females in particular, and elder sibling as well, one above you, are favoring you not only on the July 24th moon, but over the course of the 6 months that follow when it comes to gains in your career. And with Saturn in the ninth house, the call is to get your act together and be, very importantly, aligned with your dharma, your purpose, the meaning of life. It's not enough in the sky to make money. The money comes because of alignment. Saturn says we got a 3-year span here of being in alignment. Saturn is the hand of the king here. What does that mean? Well, this is like Kamala Harris has her Saturn here. She was very good as a vice president. I mean, you can argue she wasn't. I don't care. I'm Canadian. But she's born to be Saturn, the advisor to a person in power. That's Saturn in the ninth house. Great executive assistance, for example. And this would lend itself to saying also, in what way do you want to move into advisory roles, hand of the king roles in your life? Could that be a way in which you increase your financial gain? Maybe it could be. Because we have Mars in your second house with a kind of a bucket handle formation. He's a handle. There's something about making a finite, definitive decision, an actual decision about your gains, your earnings, your money, your resources, your savings. You need to make a decision. It's squaring Venus in the house of career gains. It's about your career gains. It may involve digital, online, and media events because that's what Venus rules. You're trying to make a decision. You got to take a stand here, one way or the other, to go left or right, A or B. South Node is helping you let go of parts of your, financial story that no longer work. Sometimes when the South Node is here, it's really letting go of past life patterns around money. And Mars is helping you cut those away as well, like vows of chastity or poverty, poverty for money, and time to release those as well. So it looks to me like you're going to have a better story financially, but it's connected to kind of the surprising increase of gains in your career that can come off of the moon, but look for opportunities connected to your past as well. Virgo, sun, moon, and rising sign. Wow, let's start off with this new moon in your 12th house. Fresh starts, new beginnings. Mercury retrograde, conditions connected to your past as well. There is, in the 12th house, the potential for shifts or new beginnings regarding self-undoing, self-sabotage, bad habits, addictions, and all of that. And you can get a fresh start in a new beginning. Forget dry July, do dry August with this guy. New beginnings are happening. Opposite Pluto in the 6th house, this is really make or break energy. Pluto in the house of, health and wellness, daily habits and routines, opposite the sun in the house of self-undoing with the moon. So, you can really have a breakthrough in getting rid of those addictions and self-undoings with Uranus chiming in with a wedge formation. So look for those possibilities. However, Pluto is in a work house, and this is a backroom deals and negotiations 12th house, and Uranus is in the 10th house. Sudden, shining, shocking, good, powerful, and fresh beginnings that can connect to new opportunities in work. Venus has raise, promotion, performance review on steroids. Saturn and Neptune can give you a bonus pay, a severance package, a sign-on bonus, a commission check from heaven. Certainly with Venus up here, you're looking good in your career. People are liking what you're doing. Uranus brings you the surprise. So by being a really positioned well in your career, if you have one, the surprise, it looks like it can positively impact your bottom line financially as well because of Saturn. Maybe even getting a job with more benefits, more vacation, more medical benefits. These kinds of things happen under this kind of lucky sky. Now, Pluto is the boss, right? Somebody in power in the workspace could be very head honcho, the top dog. And they are, in fact, favoring you. Pluto is trine Uranus. So you could have really unexpected favoritism from your higher ups coming off the July 24th moon. If you don't have a career and you're retired, Now, what ways are you celebrated? You win an award? Have you won your latest golf game? Or you have the best score ever in your bingo hall? Whatever you're up to in your little old lady and my man retirement. I am 63. I will not be retiring. So I don't know what that word means really. Because if I retire, I'm writing fiction books, really. Not something I can imagine not doing is just, I don't know, golfing or playing tennis. I don't mean any shade on you guys who are just recreating. I know you worked hard all your life to play, but play and create maybe. My humble opinion, or give back as the wise elders. Mars is a part of a bucket formation, and he's a handle. The decision making power is in your hands. You have it. You can act and you can decide. You got Mars here through to early August, but your decision making power is extraordinary right now. Your action taking power is keen. You know what you want, you're going to get it. Mars is going to fetch it because you're going to get it for yourself. You're going to let go of anything that undoes your health. That's the South Node Mars, cut, end, and sever. Look closer to the 20th of July, by the way, for that to have played out, where you realized you had to finally cut some kind of cord of something that's not serving your physical wellness. So hopefully you don't get injured there, because that's another thing that could happen. Especially I think Virgo rules your fingers and your spleen, maybe. All right, now, one thing I want to last say about you guys in this kind of sky is pay attention to your dreams, because Mercury's the dream messenger, and he's in your 12th house, which can include what you're doing at night or alone. So he's close enough to the new beginning, new moon, that pay attention to the 24th, 25th, 26th during the dark moon for a message from your insights, from your meditations, your dreams at night, is in particular your dreams at night, can give you real insight and guidance regarding many areas of your life, including career, including addictions, including work. So these are areas to pay attention to for you. Libra, sun, moon, and rising, new beginnings, new moon energy. The new fresh start is happening in your house of great gains of your career. The money from the 10th comes through the 11th, and here you could experience a new fresh start. But with Mercury retrograde, some of these career gains also suggest the past. People from your colleagues, coworkers, space from the past, friends, allies, and benefactors from the past can be of great benefit to you in this new moon and new beginnings that can favor that Jupiter success story that wants to happen in your 10th house. One of the things about the 11th is it is those long range goals and dreams and wishes, those visions you have. You may renew your visions once every year during the Leo season for a new beginning and a new vision and a new dream. But Mercury says a new dream that may include ideas from your past. Because this new moon, new beginning happens to be in a sextile to Uranus for shock and surprise, it could be a very positive surprise in the following areas: foreign travel, foreign people, foreign lands, book publishing, academic environments, pilgrimages, legal and court matters. Surprise, Venus says, I'll try to make it positive. And the moon also activates a positive energy to your 7th house, which will indicate very positive surprises regarding mediation, legal contracts, legal disputes, contractual agreements regarding career gains, business partnerships, and reaching an audience in a marketplace. Now, over the next 3 years, Saturn is going to give you a lot of stability there, but also Neptune vision. And so you're going to be really working this idea of what kind of client, audience, marketplace, or public you're trying to reach. You may be catering to Saturnian energy, which are the sages, the wise men, and the wise women. Okay? Well, Pluto is opposite the moon in the 5th house. This is regenerative, renewing, cathartic energy regarding love, romance, sexuality, creativity, and entrepreneurship. And this is coming from the 11th house. This could be an axis of 11 and 5 are fortunate houses. Venus is in another lucky house. There's a lot of good energy here for sure. And it's also contained in a bucket where Mars is holding the handle of the bucket. Mars says to make decisions and take actions and to surrender and let go on the South Node. I know it sounds contrary, but Mars and the South Node are in your moksha liberation house. It really is a surrender and let go house. However, you might need to release a plan you had for a long distance journey, squaring Venus in the ninth house. And you might also have to surrender, release, and let go of something connected to an addiction or a bad habit. Some of you may have to do that as well. You could find yourself in this storyline, possibly making decisions or taking actions regarding creative projects you do at home alone. But where Venus is sitting and where Mercury is sitting, I kind of think you're looking at also things from your past, and they've already, like, you set wheels in motion for something, and now you're going to have to say, well, maybe not. Maybe I'm going to make a change regarding the wheels I set in motion regarding a lot of things, but mostly long distance travel, foreign lands, academic situations, book publishing, spiritual communities, legal matters, change of action, change of direction, change of plans. Look for the moon to give you clues. You should know pretty quickly near the July 24th, 5th moon what's really going on there. I'm going to move us back a day so we can get the moon closer to the sun again. Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising, big energy here, new beginnings in your career. Now, every year this happens, so we don't change our career or work path every year, but this moon has love from Saturn, not like last year. And Saturn here can say it's time to change your career for sure. You want to find something that's more in alignment, maybe something you could stick with for 3 years and work hard and be good and successful at it. Mercury says opportunities for career changes connected to people you've known in your past, colleagues, coworkers, bosses. Look for signs of that being true. You can see that anytime after July 17th with Mercury retrograding in your Leo 12th, 10th house. But the moon gives it a real big boost, right? All of a sudden, the boss, the colleague, the coworker from the past is saying, we got a job here. Or a headhunter says, that company you used to work for, they want you back, something like that. Saturn will always keep you working hard. And I have to say, you're going to work hard for 3 years. That or you're going to have karmic health challenges. So either which way, I'd rather you be working hard. So Saturn wants you to work hard the next 3 years. Chiron wants to heal a wound where you worked hard and didn't really think it was worth it. Now you're going to get some payoff and payback because karmic wound is leaving and has been obliterated by the eclipse of 2024 in Aries. So you're really not really that wounded anymore. You can actually work in something that is really true for you, especially with the North Node activating the house of your creative energies, your inspirational and artistic endeavors. Situation here is that Mercury is in a shocking, surprising, unexpected development mode around money, most likely. Uranus is in the 8th house. So an unexpected chunk of money. Venus doubles down on an unexpected chunk of money. Well, Mercury is in the house, by the way, of the father figures. And there may be some money that was due you from an authority figure, a boss, a father figure in the past, and it could come unexpectedly back to you in a surprising way, not just around the moon of July 24th, but over the course of the month after and up to 6 months later. You're not going to remember that, but most people go, nothing happened on the moon. Guys, it's a 6-month story. It's not a couple of days into it. You might wonder about the cup. What are you going to do with this cup, right? Okay, there's a handle, like it's a bucket, but to me this one looks more like a teacup. And here's the handle. There's a handle. Mars is holding the let's all take a sip here from the bucket. Mars would like you perhaps, and this a basket is another name for this, but basket bucket. This is very important to know that Mars has got a lot of power here. He's the outlier. So how are you going to make decisions regarding the following things and take appropriate action? For example, regarding the career gains, the way you make money, the friendship circles you hang with. Because Mars is in the house of friends, male friends could be very instrumental in helping you pivot in your work and career matters. Male allies, male benefactors, and male friends. What is a man anyway? That's a question. Probably somebody who doesn't have a womb. Okay, I can make it simple. When we talk about chromosomes anyway, well, that doesn't even work too, does it? Because sometimes chromosomes don't produce everything we should have. I just want to say, men can be an ally and a benefactor. Men from your past and an older male sibling as well, or an older sibling can benefit you if you have an older sibling. But when I talk about men from your past, they could be friends from your past, colleagues from your past. And they're going to come out of the woodwork. Mercury is retrograde. Look for those emails, phone calls, and text messages close to July the 24th. I don't want to move by day. I want to move by hours. Thank you, Scorpio, for listening. Oh, wait, Pluto in your fourth house, duck. I mean, you could have a very big domestic disagreement, combusting and intensity between the home and work situation, although it can be cathartic, renewing, and regenerative. Uranus is in an inheritance house. Jupiter went through there. The gains of the inheritance house are in the ninth right now. Pluto is in a legacy wealth house. For some of you, there may be an inheritance story emerging shortly after this moon or in the 6 months later. All right, give me a drink, guys. Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising. Fresh starts and new beginnings in your ninth house of God. Spirituality, philosophy and beliefs, dharma, and being meaningfully on purpose in one's life. New beginnings in the house of book publishing, fresh starts in academia and legal matters. So all these fresh starts, new beginnings have a retrograde Mercury, so that connects to new beginnings, but connected to past stories. So you hear from a professor from your past. You go back to a place you've traveled to, a foreign country from the past. You hear from a lawyer from your past. You connect to a publishing deal opportunity from your past. These are ways a Mercury retrograde with a new beginning in the ninth house could show up. Because there's a surprise from the seventh house, it comes through another person. Someone delivers a surprise that is positive, and it could be a female. A surprise solution to a legal situation can emerge if you've been struggling with that as well. Venus rules your house of legal disputes, and she's in her contractual handshake place, with the surprise coming from the place of courts and legal matters. Having this Saturn story in the mini trine in your fifth house, well, some of you could get a great opportunity for a viral hit. Something you publish in the world is going to hit the mark with an audience. You could get some kind of exciting deals off of that. Some creative projects from your past that you worked really hard on in writing, communicating, storytelling, photography, modeling, performing, music. That's all Neptune, Saturn energy down there. Suddenly has a second life, a big soul, a big, what do you call it? Like second life, like a rejuvenation, because it's all retrograde. It's really connected to things you've already put into place. Suddenly sparking an exciting, exhilarating breakthrough of some sort in the house of market, audience, place, and clients. Having the Pluto opposition to this new moon is, what are you going to have to face? It requires you to die and be born again, to regenerate something new from the house of from the house of writing, communicating, marketing, selling, the house of ideas, the house of your social media landscape, Pluto. Yeah, but you really want it to be aligned with purpose. Yes, you have to have purpose. Well, you could have some really shocking, surprising opportunities for travel, but it will be connected to business partners or significant others in your life. And that may be a big story around the lunation itself. Remember, everything takes at least 6 months to unfold. Mars has a lot of decision-making power. What do you need to take action on and decide regarding your status in the world? Sometimes it's simple. Are you married, divorced, single, widowed, whatever? Mars is up there. Mars is up there in the place of your reputation, you see, but also in your career. So if you're unemployed or you're retired, Mars is making actions and decisions connected to the past, connected to things from this past and past lives regarding your career story and some shifts you want to make. Are you a single person? Well, Venus Uranus could bring a shocking, surprising new love relationship to you as well. But with Mars in an opposition to Venus in the second house, seventh house, it's just as likely to be fractious. It's just as likely to ask you, or your partner asks you, to let it go, to say we're done. I'm just going to warn you of that for sure, given that Jupiter is in the house of shared resources and has already tested your significant relationships. Some of you might be getting ready for a very maybe exhilarating breakthrough to end a relationship or have it end, or maybe unexpected. Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising sign. Well, first of all, You have a new beginning and a fresh start in a money house. You can take it as esoteric occult mysteries, sure. Spiritual liberation from the ego, yes. But you can also go chunky money, unearned income, investment monies, inheritance monies, unearned money. And here we have a fresh start. Mercury retrograde says money connected to your past can be a mesh in this story. And with the sextile to the Uranus story with Venus there, debts owed to you from the past may come to you. Okay, so there may be a sudden opportunity to receive money that comes from money owed to you from another time in your past. And this is a new moon, new beginning, fresh start that also is activating Saturn in the fourth house of the family of origin and the people you grew up with. And if money is owed to you from anyone you grew up with in your childhood life home, then this could be what we're seeing here, quite plausibly. The sibling that would be 1, 2, 3 older than you, or 2 older than you, could be involved in repatriation of funds or money or debts, karmic or real, owed to you at this time. Now, one thing about Venus in the sixth house, Saturn in the fourth, this could incite an unexpected opportunity for a pet or an unexpected exciting opportunity to possess a home. This would look like a rental property more likely, or a pet, an excitement, exhilaration around these opportunities. And it's very kind of karmic or destined with this new moon, but also connected to the past. If a pet comes to you, maybe it's a reincarnation of your dead animal. If a home comes to you, then it's coming from some place you've been before. Saturn's retrograde, Mercury's retrograde. The moon is opposite Pluto. This is a money house. To rebirth, regenerate, and renew your finances. Venus is connected to good fortune in this chart. Good fortune, unexpected gains, even including lottery wins with Uranus, Venus now where they are, the gains of the fifth. So you could win some money from tickets you purchased in the past before this moon, right? And you could win some kind of financial gain unexpectedly. You might be surprised. And Pluto here could ask you to revise, regenerate, and transform the way you handle money, the way you deal with your finances. And you might be focused on that in the 6 months after this lunation. Finally, there's a decision to make, a cup. Mars has got he's the handle of a bucket or a basket, take your pick. To receive all the benefit of that stuff, you must decide, you must act, you must take action. This is Mars, and he's in the 9th house. Cut, end, and sever, move, change, do something. This is your 9th house of third marriages, long-term dharma, spiritual pilgrimages, going off to the temples, getting a spiritual guidance, advisors, spiritual advisors, but decisions and actions have to be taken. South Node often is asking us to look to the past as well. Some of you may have an opportunity to travel abroad for financial positive gain, connected to places you've traveled before. Far off foreign lands and shores can be involved in travel and financial opportunity for you coming off this new moon in the months that follows and up to the 6 months that unfold. Hang on, guys. I cannot get comfortable today. Okay, Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. It is a story where there is a new beginning and a fresh start in the long-term committed love house. Hang on. And that's better, my footstool. And every year you get to reboot your long-term committed love business partners, public audience, and marketplace house. New starts every year at this time of year. This one has a retrograde Mercury. Expect to hear from spouses, long-term committed love partners, clients, and audience members from the past, returning with emails, phone calls, and text messages and new beginnings for you. Yet at the same time, this is a new beginning, new moon opposite Pluto. You are Pluto. You've got Pluto. You are becoming Pluto. Aquarius sun, Pluto in your career, powerful and wealthy. Pluto moon, powerful and wealthy and dominating around home-based matters. And Pluto a lot of Pluto moon people can move to another country if Pluto's with your moon, on your moon over the next 20 years. And then Pluto ascendant is like literally your character is becoming Pluto. You can either become Darth Vader or a tyrant, or you can become a source of divine willpower moving through you. You take your pick and you can become very intense. I'm very intense lately. I'm Aquarius rising. And Pluto here is asking for some reconciliation regarding revealing what has been hidden, transforming and regenerating, and renewing in the field in the house of long-term love and relationship, connected to surprising, shocking, and exciting developments in romantic love, sexual love. Venus is there to support that. This could be breakthrough energy. This can be opening up new doors of excitement or change in your long-term love and romance area of your life. If you're single, of course you can meet somebody off of this, but do you meet them on the moon? Not necessarily. 2 to 3 weeks after, or up to 6 months later, that's true. Now, if you meet somebody under this, it's going to be a very thunder, lightning, lightning strike of love. Now, the surprise this moon can bring you is also financial. Venus is with Uranus in the house of lotteries, gaming, speculation, and good fortune. So there is that possibility that this moon, July 24th, at 2 to 3 weeks, could bring you a win financially. And then the seventh house means you could share it with another person, or it can mean you have to sign the legal paperwork regarding Mercury retrograde. You've tried this game before. It's not your first ticket, not your first rodeo. And this could be the winning ticket, or you find an old ticket under your sofa and that's the winning ticket. Mercury rules ballots and thus tickets, pieces of paper by which you win or vote or count something. Because Saturn's in your third house, this supports leisure travel with breakthrough. So if you want to travel anytime, July the 23rd to early August, travel brings breakthroughs and excitement. It's really ideal for breakthroughs in writing projects, social media landscape projects, and reaching your audience. Could really give you a breakthrough energy and a solid gain that you can replicate and begin a long structure of success regarding writing, communicating, marketing, selling, teaching. These are Saturn third house narratives. For example, I'll open my Sky Reader for the 6th time. I've taught this class every year I teach it. And maybe I'll just have a breakthrough with the class. Maybe I'll have a surprisingly large enrollment, or maybe I will find something exciting about this reboot of the course I've been teaching for 5 separate times for about 5 years. Now, with this energy of a bucket or a basket, the handle is Mars. Now, there's important decisions and actions that must be taken to cut, end, and sever, release, let go, decide and act regarding the 8th house. Now, of course, that's occult mysteries and magic and tarot and numerology and all of that. So sure, go for it. But also it is that money house, right? The money you share with a spouse, the money you share with a inheritance story, the money you share from investments in the markets. Now, Mars and tax structures is just saying, make some decisions, take some actions. It's important right now to do that. This moon is inviting that from the bucket. The North Node is increasing your financial gain over the next year anyway, and you're about to go into more riches. The last time this happened for me, I did get quite wealthy, okay, from selling a property 18 years ago under this influence. Nothing's ever exactly the same, but you get my drift. Cut away, end, and sever some kind of karmic mud that holds you back. It can be about your mom, your dad, your family of origin. To free yourself from that. It can literally look like soul work. Do a meditation, do a soul work journey, get a soul retrieval, cut and sever something that's holding you back, anything that's holding you back from your greatest path in this lifetime, specifically from your Dharma. Mars is squaring Venus. She owns the ancestral line house, but also the house of aligning with book publishing, communicating, teaching, and Dharma. So you're going to cut through some kind of ancestral karmic mud. It may happen spontaneously. Nothing needs to be done. Okay, but Jupiter is also supporting greater gains in your career over the next year. So this is kind of fine tuning off of this moon, the things that keep you from being great when you're only just being good, or you know what I mean, that move the needle from the zone of excellence to the zone of genius. That's what this moon is trying to open up for you. And it can be a breakthrough energy in the way you reach your audience and marketplace over the course of the next 6 months, if that's a part of the world you're in. All right, Pisces sun, moon, and rising sign. New beginning and a fresh start in the health and sickness place. And with Mercury retrograde, the past. Now, Mercury is like blood work sometimes, or tests and the details, the results. So a test from your past yields some kind of breakthrough in how you are going to acquire better health coming off of this lunation. You can also have exciting, sudden, shocking opportunities to rent a property, rent a room in your house, to rent a new property. Uranus is in the fourth house. This is also exciting opportunities in this new moon to get a new pet, and it wasn't planned. And suddenly you're possessing a new pet. Saturn in the house of possession says, if you get an animal, it's a long game. This will be an animal in your elders. It'll last for many years. It'll be an animal that can age out with you. Energy wise, with this new moon, you're in at the sixth house of karmic debts and sometimes real life debts. And so, opposite Pluto in the 12th house, you're really working through an axis of karma and debt servicing repayment program. And you may be able to eliminate a debt from the past. You may be able to cut it off, maybe annul a debt, declare bankruptcy to get rid of a debt. I mean, anything could happen here. You could have support to relieve yourself of debts from siblings, could be supporting you. Venus rules the house of siblings. So that's also very positive. And energetically, there could be some shocks and surprises connected to pets, rentals, home, property, land, and real estate coming off the moon that are perceived by you as positive. With Saturn in your second house, it's also extremely powerful for you to begin a new dietary habit or pattern, to let go of, to constrain and constrict your food style, especially around Neptunian foods, escapist foods, comfort foods, addiction foods. Food style could be very important here for some of you to change your food style or your addictive cycles of what you ingest through your nose or mouth. This is all very capable of being a story for you here. The moon can open up the means and ways and breakthrough ways to end those patterns of food style and alcohol and weed and other addictions that don't serve you. And it can be very exciting and fast and furious shifts of perspective. You know, Mars is in your seventh house of long-term committed love. He is with the South Node, which can be karmic love stories. He does cut and sever and snip. He's giving your marriage house a kind of a bruising here. He could mean separation. It doesn't have to be a technical one, like a legal separation. It could be physical separation he wants to institute. That could last up to 6 months, because he's baking into a lunation that lasts for 6 months, not just the days around the moon. And if you want to consider it just separation, like you're traveling, your partner's traveling, that's fine. That could be it too. Otherwise, there could be major decisions being made by you and or your partner about a long-term committed love relationship, and squaring the Uranus storyline, dramatic, exciting, or electrifying changes regarding domicile and home vis-a-vis long-term committed relationship. You may up and move. They may up and move. You guys may move together. I don't know. Those are kinds of things that can happen here. Jupiter is protecting you a bit here. He trines you. You're going to be fine no matter what. And you have a lot of luck in your side right now, especially connected to lucky breaks financially. So even including lottery wins. So right now, those stories are in your sky, supporting you to land on your feet no matter what goes on in a long-term significant relationship. To decide and act may not be yours to choose, because Mars is in the house of other people. Now, Mars can bring back brothers from the past, South Node, into the story up to a month before or 6 months after, a month after to 6 months after this moon, like look for the return of a lost brother, South Node, Mars's brothers. Mars is squaring Venus. There may be some disputes around the home, about love in the home, possessions in the home with a significant love partner, but the moon itself wants to smooth it all out. Remember, there's a mini trine going on here. You could have a sudden surprising opportunity connected to money and work and money, especially if you work from home, especially if you work on the internet, especially if you're in social media. Some Pisces could have a breakthrough July the 24th, around that time of 2 or 3 weeks, and then let it unfold over 6 months. A series of financial luck, especially if you're in the social media landscape. or regarding writing projects, especially writing projects as well. So that's what I've got for you. Now, don't forget, guys, to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss a thing. And this channel does grow. I usually do an outro. I got to get my sister to name these outros because I want you to know what it is. She's just going outro. I mean, the topic of the day is, you know what I mean? The topic of the day is body. Let's talk about the body. Years ago, I learned about body symbology and somaticizing what's wrong with us, and medical astrology helps us with that too. We just had a major event at Sagittarius. We had a new moon, full moon there, and I ended up with problems with my glutes, my hips, and nerve pain. And Sag rules glutes, hips, and nerve pain, right? And I thought, oh, what am I not wanting to move forward on? Now that's resolved itself, and it's my right shoulder. So I don't just go, oh, my shoulder, which is like old rotator cuff, and it's got issues. This is a very immobile shoulder. I needed physio. I didn't get it. I should still be doing it, everything to fix it, and I didn't. So possibly because the shoulder just started to be auspiciously painful just before I started recording from simply putting my hand on my keyboard like that and supporting my arm. But I've also been moving, and I'm not really that good at lifting heavy things, but I've been carrying some bags back and forth to my new place and doing some lifting and moving. And that could have been not a good idea for the shoulder. I really didn't think I overdid it. But then I want you to think, when you got a health problem, what is the body telling you? Like, the shoulders are about responsibility and burdens we shoulder and things we carry, right, with us. So I'm carrying some responsibility. I'm carrying some shouldering of something. And it's my right shoulder, which is ruled by my left brain. My feminine shoulder is carrying some burden. Now, I actually don't think it's just like the burden of moving, because I'm having my partner here supporting the move, and he's being fantastic about it. But I'm going to have to ask myself more deeply, what are the burdens I'm shouldering on the feminine side of my body that's too much for the shoulder? And so I'm going to work with that question. And I often ask that to myself. I pay attention to synchronicities or dreams to give me the answer, so I know what this is really for. Because you can release sometimes a problem at the level of the metaphysical or the psycho-spiritual without having to release it, by going for me and getting some kind of like steroid injection in the shoulder. Because I'm pretty sure there's arthritis in there from the old injury. Anyone out there have suggestions about that, or want to talk about the body healing, body talk? I have a machine, a Rife machine here, and unfortunately it's at my new place, and I might just put that on there. Now, my sister Nancy is a Reiki healer. She was a nurse in a hospital for 30 years. And she started Reiki when she retired in 2018, started studying it. She's a brilliant Reiki worker. And she can send me a Reiki healing at a distance. Healingwithnancylynn.com is her website. And she's also my assistant right now, timestamps and stuff. And I can have that pain go away within 6 hours after the healing. And she's actually a miracle worker for me on pain and healing at a distance. So I might get her on it. But I also want to work with the reason why it's here. And then you're going to ask me, in medical astrology, what are shoulders, right? And I'm not a medical astrologer. Astrology with Heather, she's good for that. You might want to go check her out. But I think shoulders might be Taurus. Taurus is the neck. I think it might be shoulders as well. And we still have Uranus at the tail end of Taurus. No, we moved into Gemini yesterday. So Venus is still there. No, she's moved on too. So I have to really sit with what the frig this is about. So this is a ramble, but what the real message is to look at the body symbology, and certainly the medical astrology of the sky does give us clues. Like Capricorn is your knees and your bones and your teeth, often Saturn stuff. And when you know what you're looking for and what you're looking at, you make some decisions around it. Libra is the kidneys, for example. I think Gemini can rule the lungs because it's an air sign, but it has other delineations as well. Okay, so that's what I got for you. Oh. I didn't plan a topic, really. I apologize. It could have been better, but I was on a guy's show called Through a Glass Darkly, and that's going to come out soon. I can't wait to share that with my channel because this guy was a fun interview to be interviewed by him. Okay, I'm going to go maybe ice my shoulder. See you guys soon. Bye-bye. And like, subscribe, come join me on Sky Reader. I'd love to see you there.